On the 158th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about the ending of the World Cup. We have some MLB news, and then we're going to be ranking the top 5 highest MLB payrolls. Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports or checking out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Let's start off this podcast. We are in our annual sports drought. What do I mean by that? Luckily, we had the World Cup to kind of push that back a little bit, but always in the summertime is a slow time for sports, except for baseball. NFL, NBA, and NHL are all over with. The World Cup is now over, so we just have baseball, which is now just entering. It's the start of the second half of their season, so it's not even like a postseason yet. It sucks. Like, I'll admit, every year this time of year kind of sucks for sports and sports content like that, but we make do with what we are given, and we were just given a phenomenal ending to the World Cup. The World Cup final, you had Argentina playing Spain. Argentina and Spain were the two favorites to begin the World Cup. And this matchup did not disappoint. Now, usually for the soccer casuals, they like to see all of the goals. They want to see a 3-2 game. They want to see a 4-3 game. They want to see a 2-2 game. Like, they want to see goals. What I just witnessed in the World Cup final was amazing. We went through 90 minutes of scoreless football. Oh, look at me calling it football. No, we went through 90 minutes of scoreless soccer, and then Spain in the second half of overtime, of extra time, scored, and it was insane. Spain won that game. They should have won by a lot more. They ended up winning the game 1-0 in extra time, and Spain is now FIFA World Cup champions, winning the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Torres scored the only goal, and it was in the 106th minute of the game. He was a substitute, too. Amazing. Argentina's goalkeeper, the goalie for Argentina, he must have saved 12 shots. Argentina, on the other hand, didn't have a shot until... for the first 90 minutes, Argentina did not have a shot. It was unreal how bad Argentina was, but when they had the ball, they were actually doing all right. But Spain had the ball the majority of the game. They dominated. Spain just absolutely dominated. They outshot Argentina 20-3 after the 120 minutes, but they couldn't break through for the first 90 minutes. The first 90 minutes of the game, it was like bend, don't break soccer. It was bend, don't break soccer, where each team was like kind of struggling, but like they wouldn't let the other team score. It was crazy. Argentina's goalkeeper, Martinez, he finished with 11 or 12 saves. Incredible. The turning point was when the second yellow card was given to Fernandez on Argentina with just a few minutes left in regular time. Fernandez for Argentina was given his second yellow card. The first yellow card was for embellishment. The second one was for flipping the guy. That was when they flipped the Spanish guy. But yeah, so it was like a power play for the entire extra time, and that's kind of what allowed Spain to score. They had an extra guy, and that kind of lost Argentina the World Cup there. But yeah, Argentina played all of their extra time with 10 guys, and then Torres got the winning goal in the 106th minute, and it's hard for Argentina to come back from that because they can play hard defense and not allow Spain to score, but it's hard for them to score when they're down a guy. And Spain conceded just one goal the entire tournament. Is the most dominant defensive performance in the entire World Cup history, in my opinion. But that leads to the question. The big guy, obviously Lamine Yamal, is the big guy for Spain, who only scored one goal in this World Cup. But on the other side of the final, you had Lionel Messi, arguably the greatest soccer player of all time. You know, I didn't really have a problem with Messi until he came to the United States and went to Inter Miami, and then Suarez went to Inter Miami. I'm a big Orlando City fan. Inter Miami, not on good terms. It's kind of like the Giants and Dodgers, or the Yankees, Red Sox. It's kind of like that. But no bueno, Messi. I do not like Messi, but I will give credit where credit is due. You got to appreciate greatness once in a while. I've got to watch him play. Did I like the game? No. Did I think that the refs were somewhat unfair towards Messi? Yes. But, he's still one of the greatest, if not the greatest soccer player of all time. He's 39 years old. 39 years old, playing in the biggest soccer tournament in the world, called the World Cup. He had 8 goals and 4 assists in this tournament. And then you're talking about 19-year-old Lamine Yamal, who had 1 goal. That's crazy. Messi had an incredible tournament. You could tell he was upset. This is going to be his last one. There's no shot he can play at 43 years old. There's no shot he could play in the World Cup at 43 years old. He did cry at the end of the award ceremony. You could tell that it hit hard for Messi. Now, Argentina's coach was asked if this was Messi's last game, and he said, I don't know, because he never stops surprising us. This has to be Messi's last World Cup. There's no shot at 43 years old he can play in a World Cup at that level. They lost in 2014 and obviously this year in the finals with the score 1-0. Luckily, they won in 2022. Argentina ended up beating France in the 2022 World Cup. So he has some World Cups under him. He's achieved anything that any great soccer player could even dream to imagine. But Messi, you got to give caps off to him. I hate the guy. I absolutely hate him. But you got to appreciate greatness where appreciation is due. The Golden Boot, though, the top scorer in the World Cup goes to Mbappe. He had 10 goals. He scored twice in the third place game where there was 0 defense whatsoever. Final score was 6-4 in that third place game, and England ended up beating, England ended up beating France. Right? Yeah. England ended up beating France 6-4 in the third place game on the Saturday before the World Cup. It started off where England was up 4-0, and then France came back, and it was 4-3 all of a sudden. It was 4-0 going into half, I believe, and then it was they came back 4-3, and then it was 5-3, then 5-4, then 6-4, and it ended up with 6-4. But now Mbappe is now the all-time World Cup scoring leader with 22 goals. He passed Messi, who I believe had 20. That's crazy. Mbappe, he's on fire, man. He's one of the greats. But yeah, he gets the Golden Boot. And that's what I was saying. In the third place game, I was like, hey, Mbappe's not going to go light just because he knew the Golden Boot was on the line. And he ended up winning it. And Messi also didn't have a great final game. But, he's accomplished everything you could ever want to accomplish. But I do love the Lamine Yamal picture when Yamal was a baby and Messi holding him. I think that's a funny full circle moment, because what happened, and again, I didn't fact check this, but I heard this from somebody, is what happened is Argentina had these photo shoots, and Yamal, it was for Barcelona or something, and the whole Barcelona team had to take pictures with these babies, and to be in the baby, you had to win a lottery, and somehow, not only did Lamine Yamal win that lottery, but he got, out of every single player on that Barcelona team, he got picked for the Messi picture. So, the odds of that are, incredible. And then, 19 years later, they face off in the World Cup final. Unbelievable. That's just an unbelievable story. Turn of events, odds, whatever you want to call it. It's just absolutely unbelievable. But this is Spain's second World Cup title. The last time they won was in 2010, and they have a 38-game unbeaten run for Spain that goes all the way back to the 2024 Euro title. Spain is on fire. It talks about Yamal a little bit. Yamal, 19 years old, one of the youngest, but the best young players on the planet. He was 18. He turned 19 just last week, so he played all of the World Cup except for the final as an 18-year-old, and he did incredible in this World Cup. He actually didn't do that well, but as a player, he's phenomenal. He only scored 1 goal. He had a few assists, but yeah, Yamal is the next big thing. I can't wait to see what he does at 23, then 27, then 31, then 35, then 39. Like, he has plenty of World Cups behind him. So yeah, that concludes the World Cup. It's incredible. You take the games for granted, though. There was 104 matches. I would say that I watched at least a little bit of probably 90 of them. I feel like I watched at least a little bit of almost every single match. It's an incredible tournament, though, and like, you don't realize it's gone until it's gone. But now we have to wait 4 years to watch this greatness again, and now I have to go back to watching the depressing Orlando City, even though they got Griezmann. Hey. New Orlando City legend coming up from Europe. But we'll see what happens with that. But the World Cup, we got 4 more years. I remember the last World Cup, and it should be fun. Hopefully we have another great World Cup, because this World Cup was actually a lot of fun to watch, especially with the young guys, the vets, stuff like that. But it's going to be Ronaldo's, Messi's. It's going to be their last World Cup. We're going to see these new guys coming up and in. All right, let's move on to the Major League Baseball. The big thing in MLB is the Red Sox went from 0 all the way up. They are on a 13-game winning streak that could come to an end today, or it could extend today. I have no idea. But before this streak, they sucked. They were absolutely atrocious. Just last night, they beat the Rays. It was a 6-1 game, which completed, obviously, the 4-game sweep and extending their win streak to 13 games. Now, when it went to 9 games, I was like, oh, surely this is going to end. And then they just sweep the Rays. A division rival, shall I say. I mean, I wouldn't call them division rivals until just a few weeks ago, but it's crazy how good the Red Sox have gotten. It's the longest winning streak for the Red Sox in their expansion era, and the second longest since it's the longest since 1948, and the longest since the expansion era. It ties the second longest streak in franchise history. They have gone 18-2 since June 20th, after they were 32-46 to start off the season. They're climbing back up in the AL playoff race. We're going to go over the standings here in a little bit, but the Rays are just 6 games ahead of the Red Sox, and the Red Sox were at an absolute low just 2 weeks ago. But now Boston is 50-48, and they hold the 3rd place in the AL East, and they are just 6 games behind the Rays. And again, they just swept the Rays in 4 games, so that obviously didn't help the Rays' odds. I'd like to see them jump up more. I was not expecting this from the Red Sox, especially how the first half of the season went. But maybe this is just a lucky kind of stint for them. Maybe they'll go back down. Maybe they'll catch up to the Yankees. Who knows? But the Red Sox, I'm rooting for the Red Sox here. And I hope it's Red Sox-Rays playoffs, maybe? Get away with the Yankees and the Orioles and Blue Jays, who have held those 3 top 3 positions for the longest time. Except for 2020, but and I guess the Orioles dropped a few years ago, but still, Red Sox. I'd love to see the Red Sox and Rays make the playoffs. Yeah, so Boston has now swept 4 consecutive series, 5 of the last 6, and yeah, they scored 3 runs in 1 inning on Sunday without recording a hit. It's the first time they've done it since 2015. That's a crazy stat. They scored 3 runs in 1 inning without a hit. It's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. On the other side of the AL East, you have Aaron Judge. He was just officially moved to the 60-day injured list. He obviously has that rib injury, the rib injury, and he was transferred to the 60-day IL as he recovers from the broken rib. Now, he underwent a scan during the All-Star break, and it showed that the rib is healing, but he is still not cleared for baseball activities or working out his upper body yet. Aaron Boone said that Judge must become completely pain-free before increasing upper body workouts and beginning his return. Judge went out on May 31st, so it's been like a month and a half, and they still need another scan before the Yankees determine what's the next step for his recovery. And before this injury, he was batting .248 with 17 home runs and 38 RBIs, but he only hit one home run in his last 18 games before he officially went out with the rib injury. And the Yankees were 36-23 with Judge in the lineup, but have gone 18-20 since he was injured. Now, that is not what the Yankees want, especially with the Red Sox heating up. So they moved Judge to the 60-day IL to make room for a pitcher that's coming in. He has one of the 40-man spots opened up for Bradley Hayner, and the Yankees have a few different injuries. They have Giancarlo Stanton, who has had that calf strain, which, looking at him, I feel like his calf has always been strained. Clark Schmidt threw for the first time since his Tommy John surgery, which is good. He could return later this season as a reliever. And then Max Fried made his first rehab start and is scheduled for another. So it's good. The Yankees' injuries, they're coming back. They should be back by hopefully postseason. They'll make the postseason. They shouldn't have a problem making postseason. But, they kind of want these guys back sooner than later. And another injury from another GOAT, Shohei Ohtani, is officially shut down for pitching. We all knew it was going to happen. When the Dodgers signed that massive contract for Ohtani, I think everybody was thinking by the end of the contract, he won't be doing both. And it's not that he is shut down forever with pitching. He just has that little knee problem, and they're trying to prevent further injuries so he can be good for the playoffs. But yeah, the Dodgers shut him down from pitching indefinitely. We don't know when he's going to come back, and it's due from the inflammation in his left knee. But he will still continue to hit. He doesn't have a problem hitting or running or anything like that. He doesn't have any pain hitting or running. And so yeah, he's just when he lands on his left foot, I guess his knee gives him problems. They drained it during the All-Star break, and he won an ESPY as well. Congratulations, Shohei Ohtani, winning a sports award yet again. But he got the knee injection during that week of the All-Star break, but is still experiencing pain while throwing, leading to this decision. Dave Roberts said that the Dodgers are prioritizing Ohtani's health and hope to have him pitching again by the postseason, and I think this is good. He was scheduled to start this Wednesday against the Phillies, but obviously that start has been canceled. And, even though he's not pitching, he's batting .291 with 22 home runs, 58 RBIs, and a .944 OPS. He's one of baseball's top hitters right now. He is incredible. And before the injury, he was 8-2 with a 1.79 ERA and 85 strikeouts in 85 2/3 inning, which I would argue would lead the NL Cy Young race. Now, some people like to argue with me with that, but whatever. So he's out of pitching, but you got Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow that are supposed to be coming back from the IL, so it won't hurt. The Dodgers just threw a bullpen game yesterday, ended up losing, whatever. They won game one of that doubleheader, but they shouldn't need Shohei, and they can use him as a secret weapon in the postseason because no teams are going to have recent scouting reports on him, and if you just bring him in the postseason and nobody knows anything about him anymore, then hey, that could be a huge advantage for the Dodgers. So he's not going to win the Cy Young Award anymore, but he could still win, and I feel like he is still a strong favorite to win the NL Cy Young, or for the NL MVP. But yeah, I feel like even though he put up these kinds of numbers pitching, and these numbers hitting, even though he only pitched for the first half of the season, he could still win the MVP. There's no timeline of when he's going to come back, but I guess they're taking it one step at a time. Let him rest. The Dodgers don't need him right now. Right now, the Dodgers are 11.5 games ahead in their division. They really don't need him. Again, like I said, the scouting is going to be the big thing in the postseason. You don't want teams to have scouting reports on Ohtani. Just use him as a secret weapon. And then you got Glasnow and Snell coming back. They don't need Shohei to be a starter right now. Well, right now they do until they come back, but whatever. Let him rest. Let him take care of his 2 kids. Let him get a little bit of a mid-season break. I know he had the All-Star break as a break, but, give him a few more weeks. He's still going to be hitting. He's still going to be fine, but he's going to have a lot more rest. A DH isn't that hard. He doesn't have to play the field or worry about pitching for a while. It should be good. The MLB is cracking down on AI use in the dugout. So in the first half of the season, with the advancement of artificial intelligence, those iPads that they're always looking at? Well, the Mets specifically, and a lot of teams were using AI to determine in-game crucial decisions. Now that was coming from pitch selection to who they're going to use in the lineup to when taking guys out and all this stuff. But they have now restricted iPad use in the dugouts with the use of AI, with custom tabs that teams can use AI-assisted in-game strategy. Now, originally when this report came out, it was just saying on league-issued iPads. So I was like, well, all these coaches have personal iPads, they'll just use that. But I guess the league is trying to limit that as well. This is a very early report coming out. And yeah, like I said, the AI was helping make decisions with pitch selection, substitutions, and other real-time strategic calls, which I'm not for. I would like to see the managers make those decisions, but I get it with AI. The managers would rather use AI than their own opinion-based decisions. But former Mets pitcher claimed that the Mets' use of expensive AI program helped MLB's crack down. So the Mets were a big part of that. They used an expensive AI funded by Steve Cohen, their owner, which again, then you have the financial advantage that I don't love. I know Dodgers fans saying that, but I don't love that. And according to Ottavino, the AI reportedly assisted with pitch calling and other in-game decision and was, like I said, was funded by Steve Cohen. Now, the Mets declined to comment on his claims, but the Mets said that they are fully compliant with all MLB rules, which is fair. If you're complying with MLB rules, no need to worry. It shouldn't be that big of an issue. Again, at the end of the day, you're just hitting a baseball. AI isn't going to help you that much. And with pitch selection, I guess it could help you a little bit, but then the other team's going to use AI to determine what pitch you're going to throw. It's just going to be back and forth kind of thing. But MLB stated that the review found teams were compliant with existing regulation before the new restrictions took effect in the second half. Aaron Judge reacted with a surprise, saying that he couldn't believe teams were making strategic decisions using AI. I don't know why you wouldn't be surprised about that. If teams have access to it, they're going to use it. Now, a lot of MLB managers also said that AI was becoming a big part of baseball, but MLB wants to ensure that players and coaches and not AI remain the primary decision makers during the games. I can agree with that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what all they would use. Pitch selection. I feel like managers are smarter than certain AI with that, but I guess if you're using an AI that costs Steve Cohen money, I don't know. I guess that could lead to some problems. But let's go over MLB standings real quick. We are officially in the second half of the season. The Rays, we kind of talked about the AL East a little bit. They're up a game and a half against the Yankees, and then the Red Sox are 6 games behind that. Orioles, 8 games back. Blue Jays, 10.5 games back. Blue Jays are a lost cause from World Series to whatever they are, from to World Series to 46 and 53. In the AL Central, this division is probably the worst. Oh, I take that back. They're not the worst. They're one of the worst divisions in the entire league. The White Sox. Oh my goodness. The White Sox are in first place. Yes, they're in first by a game against the Guardians. Then you have the Twins 3 games behind that. And then the Tigers, the struggling Tigers, 6.5 games behind that. They got to be sellers. I know everybody wants them to be buyers. They got to be sellers here. They could get a lot for Skubal. They could get a lot for Mize. They could get a lot for Baez. I talk about it every podcast. And then the Royals, 13 games back. Forgot about the Royals. The AL West, this is by far the worst division. One team is over 500 and just a half game over 500. The Rangers. Half game behind them is the Mariners. 4 games behind the Rangers are the Astros. Then you got the A's and Angels. Throw that division away. Regulate that division. In the NL East, In the NL East, you have the Braves at 57-41. They are 3 games ahead of the Phillies. And then the Phillies are 3 games ahead of the Marlins. The Marlins are 2 games ahead of the Nationals. And then the Mets, the highest payroll in the Major League Baseball, is 16 games behind the Braves at 42-58. Unbelievable. In the NL Central, you have the Brewers 6 games ahead of the Cubs. They have a little comfortable lead there, but you got to secure it. We're only halfway through the season. But yeah, the Cardinals 4.5 games behind the Cubs, and then the Pirates are tied with the Cardinals, and then the Reds 16.5 games back. And then my favorite division, the Dodgers. The Dodgers are 63-37 right now. They are 11.5 games ahead of their division. The Padres 13.5 games behind the Dodgers. Giants 20.5 games behind the Dodgers, and then the Rockies are 23.5 games behind the Dodgers. There are 2 teams halfway through the year that are 20 plus games back in this division. That is unbelievable. All right, let's move on to the top 5 highest payrolls in Major League Baseball. At number 5, we have the Philadelphia Phillies. Their payroll right now is just over $281 million, and their record right now is 55-45. At 4th place, you have former World Series champions, the Blue Jays. They are 46-53. You are the 4th highest payroll, and you are under 500 and last in your division. They are paying over $282 million in payroll this year. At 3rd place, making podium, you have the Yankees, who still aren't even first in their division. They are 55-44. They are spending over $292 million in payroll right now. That's a lot. That is a lot of money. Number 2, 2nd place, not 1st place for everybody complaining, but 2nd place, you have the Dodgers. They are 63-37 right now, the best team in baseball, and they are paying over $301 million in payroll right now. And then the number 1, the highest payroll team, is the New York Mets. The New York Mets, who I remind you, let me go over here, are 16 games back and are 42-58. You all are complaining for a lockout and for a salary cap for a team that is 42-58. And sure, 2nd place is the Dodgers, but 4th place is the Blue Jays, who, again, I repeat, last place in their division, 10.5 games back. So yeah, is the salary cap going to do anything? No. I plead my case. I'm going to talk about the salary cap until there's no lockout in March. There's going to be a lockout probably December, January. Hopefully they resolve something by February. But that is going to do it for the 158th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Thank you all for listening. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, YouTube for all the visuals, Amazon Podcasts. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. And go to shophattricksports.com, get the best merch around. And we will see you guys next week for episode 159.